Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. Alright, I never had a problem with Burnley in the past. When growing up in my Irish barn shack, I didn't spend my lonely weekend sending Owen Coyle hate mail in the post. I wasn't calling him a middle-aged dentist who looks like he wheezes on the bus. When Will Mackenzie proudly told cinema audiences across the country that he hates Burnley with a burning passion, I didn't laugh. I didn't throw back my head and cackle like a hyena giving birth. No, to me, Burnley weren't a laughing stock. Back then, Burnley were a club to be pitied. Picking on them be a bit like flushing an orphan's head down the toilet. But now, Burnley fans, maybe switch off the video because I'm about to shove some home truths down your esophagus. Right. You are supposed to be the modern day Stoke City, right? Now on the face of it, you might think being compared to Tony Pulis's army of gargoyles who sweat through their mouth, it might be an insult, right? Good Christ, the likes of Charlie Adam look like a local butcher who's just slain a family of 4. But it is a compliment. Under Sean Dyche, you've been a resolute, tough to beat unit, and nobody enjoys going to Turf Moor on a cold and wet and windy Tuesday night. Even the way dressing room probably looks and smells like it's just being set on fire. Since promotion back to the Premier League in 2016, you've made Turf Moor a fortress. So where was that grit and determination and that fight against Leeds at home on Saturday? Where was it? Because to me, you strolled out on that pitch, showing all the enthusiasm of someone attending their great aunt's funeral. You know, the woman who used to feed you chunks of broken glass in your morning porridge while babysitting at the weekend. Yeah, next time I'm back in Cork, she's getting a family of dead pigeons chucked off her grave. Anyway, yeah. Thanks, Burnley. Don't you know what's at stake here? Yeah, to you, this might have been a meaningless end of season dead rubber. Yeah, you stayed up, all your hard work is done, but does that really mean you now get to down tools and play like you just spent the month drinking whiskey from your child's sippy cup? Yes, the season might be done and dusted, but I don't care. You're still getting paid, what? £40,000 a week for this effort, which is more than most Burnley fans make in a year. I don't want to be mean, but I'm sure due to government funding, half the town probably get homeschooled in their kitchen. And yet, with the weight of a town on your back, the football team traipses out onto the pitch against Leeds. You know, the club you robbed of both Charlie Taylor and Chris Wood, and yet you sleepwalk your way to a 4-0 home defeat. But listen, Burnley, you might be wondering why a sweaty Irishman keeps complaining about a random loss at home to Leeds. Why should it matter? Well, lads, look at the comments on the Sky Sports highlight package of this game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting closer and closer to witnessing the Irish guy having a tattoo Patrick Bamford somewhere on his body. The Irish guy has done it again. He said Rodrigo was a bad signing, then he gets a double, and now he's going to get a Bamford tattoo.
Yep. Aston Villa have currently bottled it at Crystal Palace. Thanks, Jack Grealish and friends. Meaning, if Leeds win at Southampton on Tuesday, lads, then I'm gonna have to go to a tattoo parlor. This is honestly gonna be the worst summer of my life. Anyway, enough of that. Something to distract me other than drinking petrol through a straw. Leicester City have just won the FA Cup. No, Brendan Rodgers has won the FA Cup. A guy who 5 minutes ago was perceived to be a laughingstock in English football. Yeah, just because of the 6-1 collapse at Stoke before being banished to Scotland, most football fans in this country talked about him as if he's a clownish non-tactician who couldn't organise a defence to save his life, and whose career was made by just being carried by Luis Suarez for 1 year. This is a Brendan Rodgers who, while at Liverpool, was an utter nightmare in cup competitions, especially the FA Cup. Let's not forget, he took a world superstar like Luis Suarez to Oldham Athletic and lost. He balled an FA Cup semi-final against an Aston Villa team 1 year off an embarrassing relegation. Well, look at him now. Let's not overlook the job he's done at this club. Last season, 5th was seen as failure. Lads, go back a decade and offer Leicester fans the chance to be the 5th best team in the country, and they would rip your elbow out of your arm socket. And now, 3rd in the Premier League, FA Cup winners, and they've now beaten 3 teams this season who are about to compete in European finals. But it's fair to say Chelsea fans, they're not too happy. Lads, let's not forget, go back a few months. When Chelsea were drawn against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League last season under Frank Lampard, nobody gave them a prayer. Now, Thomas Tuchel has you 1 game from European glory. You just knocked out Real Madrid. And you seem to think Leicester City would have been a walkover. Are we forgetting they're above you in the league? What divine right did you have to be favourites for this game? When Frank Lampard was binned in January, all of you just spent your week crying at your morning porridge after seeing him be utterly ripped apart tactically by Brendan Rodgers in an embarrassingly easy fashion at the King Power. Ignorant armchair fans might have thought Chelsea v Leicester City was a mismatch on paper. But lads, the last time Chelsea beat a team above them in the league in a cup final was back in 2007, Wembley's first match. That's 14 years, lads. People are saying Edward Mendy should have been in nets to save that Yuri Tielemans wonder strike. I'm sorry, yes, Mendy's kept a lot of clean sheets, but he's not Superman. The guy was practically working at a petrol station only 5 years ago. People saying that he would save this top corner arrowed strike. Why? Because he's 5 inches taller than Kepa? That is not how goalkeeping works. You might call Tuchel's decision to rest his number 1 as a symbol of supposed German arrogance, right? Except Kepa has played every single minute of FA Cup football this season, including keeping a clean sheet against Man City in the semi-final. To suddenly drop him for the final would smack of complete betrayal. Don't forget, Roberto Mancini did this in 2013, suddenly dropping his cup goalie Costel Pantilimon for the final in favour of trusting Joe Hart. Now, the Romanian beanpole wasn't a big name and didn't have shampoo companies parked in his lawn, but he'd only conceded 1 goal in the FA Cup run, keeping 4 clean sheets. And so harshly denying him a Wembley Cup final appearance. Did it pay off? No, Hart conceded a last-minute winner against Wigan, and the Italian was immediately sacked. Managers need to keep a dressing room on side, and especially at a club like Chelsea, where player power has existed for the last 15 years. And I'm sorry, picking the most expensive goalie of all time for a cup final, that's not exactly a footballing sin. Chelsea fans are also upset Ben Chilwell didn't start. Well, we're not for VAR spoiling the day with a wrongful offside decision. Then the introduction of Chilwell in 68 minutes would have been seen as an inspired impact sub. Play this game without VAR, and I'm convinced Chelsea would have won this match in extra time, with Tuchel now continue to be seen as a genius. One decision where he did let himself down though was not even including Tammy Abraham in his matchday squad. For a player who scored 30 goals for Chelsea, including an FA Cup hat-trick this season, to then treat him like someone who just flushed your cat down the toilet, it's pretty unforgivable. The fact is, he scored more goals for this club than everyone in the starting 11 combined. But well done, Leicester, and a quick word for the Shrivanabadrapa family. These are proper owners in football. The Leicester City project wasn't a quick fix sugar daddy thing. These men weren't the richest businessmen in the world. They just arrived at Leicester City in the championship with ambition and a plan. No nonsense decisions, no big money signings, just sensible recruitment and ideas on and off the pitch. I mean, the signings of Riyad Mahrez, N'Golo Kante and Jamie Vardy, some of the best footballing bargains of all time. Don't forget, when they took over, Leicester City were just 1 year out from getting promoted from League One. Even promotion from the Championship looked ambitious. And yes, after the last minute playoff heartbreak against Watford, they could have grown bored and just pulled out. Or maybe acted like the Watford owners and mainly took out their frustrations by sacking the coach. But no, they kept faith in Nigel Pearson, and it paid off with the league title the next year. Then, during a struggling first season in the top flight, I'm gonna say it, they looked utterly doomed at Christmas. The whole team looked like utter cottage pie. Pearson could very easily be sacked for someone like Martin O'Neill. But again, no, they kept faith, and it paid off with the Great Escape. The following year, Pearson gets sacked because of his son. Claudio Ranieri gets appointed, and it looks like a club in crisis. It looked like a mindless, brain-dead decision, reaching into the past for serial failure. By appointing this guy, the owners were gambling with their reputation. Imagine if he had the same impact at Leicester that he had at Fulham, and they were relegated by March. The owners would probably been run out of town. But no, even the next year, when Ranieri was sacked in February, then comes the heat for the first time in their tenure. I'll admit it, I thought it was the wrong decision. We all thought the Leicester players were snakes. Unforgivable to sack a Premier League title winning coach, right? And especially appointing Craig Shakespeare, a guy who looks like he lives in the KFC toilets. Well, Ranieri has since gone on to show that actually he's not an elite coach, and he eventually stumbled away through Club Puel to land on Brendan Rodgers, who's got them back into the Champions League and won them their first ever FA Cup. This club could have been a flash in the pan in 2016, a fluke season before disappearing back into the Championship within 3 years. They could have cashed in on Jamie Vardy to Arsenal, stripped the club of all of their best players and pocketed the cash. A lot of football clubs would have been tempted to do that, but no, they've lost a big player every summer, but they've always reinvested the money back into the team. So listen, rest in peace, Vishai Shrivanabadrapa. But just know that this man's legacy will live on at this football club for the rest of time. Let's not forget, Leicester City were the only Premier League club to vote against that nonsense, extortionate pay-per-view greed earlier this season. This is a club run properly. This is a club who think about their fans, not just lining the inside of their pockets. And the fact that your son is there to continue on your legacy every step of the way, Leicester City are an example of how in this muddy, greedy, billionaire football world threatening to rot the core of football from the inside out, these Leicester owners, they do things right. And honestly, this cup win couldn't have happened to a better ownership. Anyway, that's it. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you want to see me do a watch along of the Leeds Southampton game? It's honestly going to be absolute torture. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.